Chip, you have an incredible album here out, Extra Cherries. Where did this title come from?
Actually, I was hanging out at a place called the Pfister Hotel in Milwaukee. We're doing a Enuff Z'nuff documentary, and I was meeting with the director and one of his friends, my buddy Eric, and they were ordering old-fashioned Manhattans with extra cherries. And I just liked the way it rang off the tongue. And then I realized I have a lot of different musicians playing on this record, some great collaborations. It's only fitting to use that title for this album. And that was pretty simple. In the old days, we always had a hard time coming up with titles for the albums. We could name them after songs that we wanted to, like we did "Strength," of course, on the second album. But for most of them, we just always were stumped by what we were going to title the album as. This one came pretty easy to me, and I think it sums up exactly what this album is all about. Bunch of new songs that are driven by hope and love and prosperity and a little bit of grief as well, mixed in with great rock musicians that have come up with some wonderful parts in this record to help us out.
My favorite track is heavy metal. Have you got a favorite track yourself?
Yeah, that was one of my favorite tracks. That was actually written in almost 10 years ago, and it just didn't make any of the records. We were going to put it on the Diamond Boy record, and for some reason we had so many songs and it slipped through the cracks. And then after that, we thought, well, maybe we'll put it on Brainwash Generation or Finer Than Sin. But for some reason, it just missed the boat every single time until we started putting this record together. And I said, I just want to put together a real concise album of great stuff that's mixed, pop, rock, metal, alternative, the whole genre, and put it on one record. And that song was recorded live in the studio, all of us together at a place called Stonecutter Studio on the north side of Chicago with an engineer. His name is Chris Diamonds, wonderful producer engineer who was responsible for the Revenge record that Kiss did years ago. And he's also done other huge artists. But I thought this is a rock solid record and song. And it's not a heavy metal song, but it deals with elements of metal. So it seemed like a nice title that flowed off the nice little metaphor.
Shine is a special song as well for you. I can't imagine finding, this old demo and then making it fit so that, you know, Derek gets a spot, continues to have a spot and an honor in the band's presence. What did it mean to you, and why was it important for you to include him here with Shine?
Well, I've always loved Neil's playing. We shared the same manager, the great Herbie Herbert. Herbie managed tons of bands, Journey, Mr. Big, and Roxette, Europe, Steve Miller Band, and of course Enuff Z'nuff. So we had a wonderful relationship. I used to go see concerts, and I go to the clubs with Neil, and we'd go see bands like Y&T and Dave Meniketti playing. So he's a great friend of mine who I don't see him very often, but when I do, it's nothing but hugs. We shared a lot of love obviously, with Herbie Herbert. And when he came out to Chicago to record that years ago, we were doing an album called the Cyclops Blues Band, and Neil was playing. And we had a couple extra hours of time over at Chicago Recording Company, which is no longer there now. Unfortunate studio that was open for 40 years. Everybody played there, from Queen to Michael Jackson to Genesis, Cheap Trick, Plant Page. And I thought it'd be nice to get in there, and maybe Herbie's right. We should do a track in there. And we bashed that song out live in the studio. We smoked a little bit of pot, and we went in the studio, and Neil plugged into a Marshall amplifier that wasn't even his. It was at the studio. He played through his Les Paul. I plugged in my 63 Precision bass. I ran it through a Pultec for any gearheads that are out there. I didn't even use an amplifier. And then we just bashed out this one idea that we had, and we played it twice. That was it. And the session was over, and those tapes just sat in the vault all these years until I was putting together the Xtra Cherries record, and I on accident found that track, and I said, I got to do something with this one, and a light bulb went off in my head. I just finished doing the Robert Fleischman solo record, which is called Emotional Atlas, and Robert, of course, was a singer in Journey for about a year. and then Steve Perry took over, and then of course Robert's known for being the singer in Vinnie Vincent Invasion. And I asked him kindly if he would like to come down and sing on a song with me that I played with Neil Sean years ago, and Donnie's on there too, playing piano. And he flew to Chicago, and within an hour he was finished with the track. That's how great he sang. And so it's basically a live record, like bands used to do it in the studio, count off to four and start the song, excluding the minimal overdub, which was very incendiary with Robert coming in there and just nailing a beautiful vocal, nice melody line. And I sang some harmonies with him, and there you go. We got a brand new Enuff Z'nuff track, and I get to reacquaint Journey once again after 40. You got Neil and Robert both playing together, and you got Donnie and myself. So it's a nice little celebration, if you ask me, at the end of the day. And I
Absolutely.
think the fans will be happy to hear this collaboration.
You have some incredible guest stars on this. You talked about Neil, you talked about Robert, there's Steven Adler, Gunnar Nelson. How did you compile this guest list?
Well, this business is predicated on friendships and relationships. Those guys are all my friends. That Steven Adler track, that's an old track too. Steven used to come. He lived at my house in Blue Island, Illinois, for about a month when he was really cleaning up his act. We got off a tour. We were playing over in Europe. Came back to the United States. He just wanted to get away from California for a while, and he came out to Chicago and stayed with me for about a month. And he played every day. He would play the drums for 15, 20 minutes, just checking out because I was recording bands in the studio, and I needed someone to play the drums, and I had my engineer just recording all those sessions. So I probably got 50 songs with Steven Adler playing drums on them. I mean, this guy's incredible. Nobody swings like him. He was straight and focused at the time. The only thing he was, his only, uh, I would say, fault, and it's not a fault, but some people would think so, was he would sit in front of the TV and watch Family Guy, American Dad, and South Park all day. But I got him on those songs, playing drums, and then I just basically took material that I had and just played it around his drum beat, and that's how I was able to get Steven on this Xtra Cherries record. And the to answer your question on the Nelsons, I toured with the Nelsons in the old days back in the '90s. We followed around Skid Row and Guns N' Roses playing arenas. They had a hit song at the time, Nelsons, called "After the Rain." And our second record was out at the time that was called Strength. And we both toured together for about 2 months doing sheds and arenas. So we developed a nice little friendship. I watched those guys every single day crying when we were on the road because they had a cell phone. Cell phones weren't prevalent back then. You had those big cell phones, and they were paying $27,000 a month to pay their cell phone bill. So they cried to me about that, and I go, man, I don't even want a cell phone now. It's going to cost that much money. And of course, the band Enuff Z'nuff has a propensity to get in trouble at any single moment, and we would get reprimanded every single day on that tour. But it brought it brought us together as brothers. So when we were getting ready to do this record, and we recorded the song "Star Star," otherwise known as "Starfucker," by the Rolling Stones, probably the most promiscuous lyric that Mick Jagger's ever written, and a great riff by Keith Richards as well. I reached out. My guitar player is Jason Camino. He used to play guitar in the Nelsons. And he says, we should call Gunnar and ask him if he want to play some guitar on this thing. And lo and behold, he was totally into it. They were writing a book. They're doing a big documentary on them. And he says, yeah, send me the track and let me play on it. And I had no idea he played slide guitar that well. Just a fabulous performance on it. Really brought the song to life.
They're iconic. They're known for their singing and their musical prowess. So this is a great song, I think, for them to be, for the Nelson brothers, at least Gunnar, to be a part of. And I can't wait for more people to get to check that out. Is there a message or an emotion you really hope lingers with people that check out Extra Cherries as a whole?
It's just a strong record that I think it fits Generation X. I think a lot of people out here will be pleasantly surprised when they hear it. It's not your typical Enuff Z'nuff album. It still has the same aesthetics. It's about good songs and nice melody lines, and try to come up with some good stories. There's plenty of stuff to write about in this day and age. But I just think it's if anybody likes all those things I mentioned before, the message of playing good songs with different styles of music, I think that people will be pleasantly surprised when they hear it. The message is if you love rock and roll, you like pop, and you like alternative, check out the new record. There might be something on there for you. And maybe there's a director out there, a movie producer, somebody that is doing a movie, a soundtrack, a TV show, a commercial that goes, you know what, there's something in here for me. I want people to hear these songs. Without putting a brand new record out there, you don't get a chance. I tell all the
Sure.
artists that are out there making records, do the best you can, put your best foot forward. There's somebody out there. We're all one song away from being back in the game again.
So true. And we talked about the incredible guest stars you have on this. Is there a dream collaboration you have in mind? Maybe somebody you would dream of working with in the future for a cameo?
Well, I love playing with Steve Stevens. I got him on there, and we worked together back in the early days when he lived in New York. And I played on some demos for him. I think he actually made a record too. And so there was a good relationship there, but I had no idea that I'd be able to get Steve on this record. But evidently, he was listening to Little Steven's Garage Radio, which is Little Steven from Bruce Springsteen's radio show on Sirius XM. And Little Steven always plays Enuff Z'nuff stuff. He sent me a text going, Chip, you'll always have a home here. He usually plays I Gotta Believe in Love, one of the songs on our earlier records. But he heard a song, Steve, that is, heard a song called Man Without a Heart. And he sent me a thing on Instagram saying, man, I just heard the song Man Without a Heart on Little Steven's Garage Radio, and it was fantastic, Chip. Are you ever going to do another record? And I said, we're getting ready to do our 21st album right now. Can I send you a song? And after 15 minutes, he sent me a reply back saying, yes, that's all it said. And I sent him the track. And within 10 minutes of hearing the track, he got back to me and says, this is rock solid. Let me do my thing to it. And I listened to everything he says. When you're doing collaborations with other artists, the last thing you want to do is put handcuffs on them and tell them what to play or give them your ideas. You want their musical expertise. And that's what Steve did. He helped with the arrangement of the song. He played all lead guitars on there, played all the rhythm guitars, and he turned it into his own. And that's what a true artist usually does when it comes to collaborations.
That's just incredible. You've gotten such wonderful praise from little Stevie, and I must mean the world to you that he gives you his blessing and still continues to highlight the incredible music you make after all these years.
No, it's very blessed. It's a blessing from above. There's no doubt about that. And enough stuff has been blessed to still be going after all these years, all these albums. You put all the records together, we probably have 30 albums out there. Got a great label at Cleopatra. A wonderful team with Amanda over at ABC PR. This is the first time since the late 80s, early 90s where we had a whole team together that everybody was on the same page. And the common denominator is let's reach the audience and let everybody know that there's another record out there of some pretty good songs. And we know there's a ton of bands that are out there playing, and there's some good new stuff that's out there as well that I'm a big fan of. And those bands are carrying the American flag with the Dirty Honeys and the Tyler Bryant and the Shakedown. And I love that band, the Lemon Twigs. And Goose over in New York. There's a lot of good groups out there that I hope can get recognized and can help move rock and roll forward. But I think we're in a pretty good place right now. Even the older bands are out there touring around the country. I'd love to
Sure.
get Slash on a record. That'd be fantastic. Or Brian May from Queen. I still live in the past when it comes to rock and roll and heavy metal and pop.
Those are
There's so
icons.
many bands. I love Glenn Tilbrook to sing on something with us. I went and got some great singers in the past. Obviously, Robin Zander was one of the finest that I could ever bamboozle into playing on an Enuff Z'nuff album. But there's so many good musicians out there, and I think in this day and age, it's good for musicians. I don't care what kind of band you are, what kind of style you're playing, to go out and collaborate and meet your favorite guys. That's going to help elevate your perception.
Extra Cherries is a wonderful follow-up to Finer Than Sin. What would you like to say to fans and supporters? People are still fans of the incredible work Enuff Z'nuff puts out.
I can't thank the fans enough because that they gave me the life that I have right now. And although I'm not living in a $10 billion mansion and driving Ferraris and Lamborghinis, I am sitting in my buddy Scott's beautiful $175,000 Mercedes Sprinter right now on this tour. So I've been blessed quite a bit, to be honest with you. But to answer your question with the fans, I can't thank them enough. Appreciate the support all through the years. As long as there's gas in the tank, I'm going to continue driving to every single city and bringing the music to you. God bless you all.